Hello, my name is Latonya Knighton Bennett. Question number 1. What is my experience in teaching social studies? I taught social studies and reading during the first 2 years of my teaching career, the years of 2010 to 2012. All other content areas were taught by other fifth grade team members. During those years, social studies were tested on the Georgia Criterion Reference Competency Test, which is formerly known as the CRCT. Because of this, there was pressure to cover facts that would be on the test. The focus was on students memorizing names, dates, events, and vocabulary terms. Most of my lesson came from a very worn old textbook. The books did not connect well to student lives, and my many examples felt outdated and did not reflect the students in my classroom, or the students could not make connection to that era in history. I did not have many resources besides the textbook and worksheets. My comfort level with social studies was mixed. I enjoyed history and geography, but I did not feel confident in teaching social studies in creative ways. I had little training on how to teach social studies skills like analyzing sources or asking questions. The only way I knew how to teach social studies was the way that I learned in school. However, one meaningful moment was when students became interested in a story about civil rights. They asked questions and wanted to talk about fairness. However, I did not always know how to guide their questions or their thinking along the way. That surprised me though, because I had planned a simple reading lesson, but it showed me that students wanted deeper learning. However, a challenging moment during those years was trying to keep students engaged when lessons were only reading and answering questions from a book for social studies. Question number 2, my belief in quality social studies instruction. Today, I believe high quality social study instruction should focus on thinking and not just facts. Good instruction should help students understand people, events, and places. Good social study instruction should connect to students' lives and their communities as well. From my readings in the Social Studies and Elementary Education book and the article Powerful Purposeful Pedagogy in Elementary School Social Studies, I believe inquiry is very important. Students should explore questions using maps, photos, letters, primary sources. This helps them learn how to think like historians and citizens. Social studies should also show many viewpoints and not be just one-sided. This helps students see that history in our society is very complex. I also believe that social studies should be culturally relevant to students. Lessons should reflect students' cultures and experiences. When students see themselves in content, learning feels more meaningful to them. These ideas are powerful to me because I think they help students become active learners. They also help students learn how to talk about ideas and share ideas and listen to others. Social studies can also support reading skills too because students read real world texts and discuss them. Quality social study instruction should place students at the center and allow them to learn through discussion, problem solving, and connection to real life. Now, the obstacle, question number 3, obstacle to implementing quality social studies instruction. One major barrier that I see today is limited time. Georgia's current standards place more focus on reading and math. Therefore, social studies is receive very less attention because students are not tested on it anymore. Another obstacle is curriculum pressure. Many teachers today, such as myself, must follow pacing guides closely. Therefore, this creates little time for projects or deep discussions with students. Testing also affects instruction. Even though social studies is not tested, teachers that are expected to use that time for test preparation and other subjects. Materials is another problem. My school still have the old textbooks sitting on the shelf from 17 years ago. Also, digital tools are hard to come by and are very limited for the content area of social studies. Most teachers find resources on sites such as Teacher Pay Teacher to support social studies content area. Student engagement can be difficult if lessons feel disconnected from their lives. Without hands-on activities, students lose interest. These obstacles to me make it hard for teaching social studies the way it should be taught. I know I would want to use inquiry and discussion, but time and pressure limit those choices as well. How would I change it or mix it up today? If I had to teach social studies again, I would change how I teach it. I would like to use more questions and projects. I would like to use students to explore topics through inquiry. For example, instead of telling students about the government, I would let them investigate classroom rules and why they matter. Although I teach reading and writing, I want to use primary sources such as photos, letters, and maps. These can help students see real history and real people. I want to include stories from different cultures and groups so all students can see themselves in the lessons. For example, when teaching about community, students should study their own town. I want more instruction to be more student-centered, to include group work, projects, and questions that matter. I want students to talk, write, and think more as well. What inspires me to change is to be thoughtful, is knowing that social studies can help students learn how to be thoughtful and active citizens, and students learn fairness, respect, and responsibility. These skills are just as important as test scores.